Hi, I'm Dr. Marcus.
And I'm Charlie, and this is the Mood Booster podcast.
In this episode, we're speaking all things forgiveness.
This is a really, really insightful episode. You'll actually learn all things how to forgive. So we go over different steps, tools that you can use on how to forgive other people. We also teach you how to forgive yourself. We also really go into how you can shift your perspective from justice towards peace.
Yeah. Not only do we speak about our own personal reflections with forgiveness, but in this episode, we lean a lot on the REACH model, which is a model based in forensic psychology, actually, but applicable to all walks of life. It's a really cool model, and it allows us to really unpack the steps of forgiveness. We also give you some homework, which is really cool. And as always, the advice towards the end.
Make sure to listen to that homework as well. It's super, super useful. And I think you'll learn a lot from it as well. Yeah, it's a lovely episode.
In this podcast, we share evidence-based advice, tools, and tips to help boost your mood, improve your well-being, and find joy in the everyday.
We talk about life's highs, lows, and everything in between with real stories and reflections from our own journeys.
With pillars rooted in introspection, connection, and presence, this is the home of well-being and joy.
Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Nice. Hello, everyone.
Buongiorno.
Welcome back.
Episode 25.
Episode 25.
Episode 25.
Welcome.
We're here already.
It's fantastic to have you here.
Of a century.
Quarter, what, 50?
Yeah. A quarter of.
Quarter of 30.
25. Crazy. 30.
I'm not strong at maths.
Oh.
Episode 25.
Yeah, what I meant is that 25 is like 1/4 of 100.
I don't speak Spanish. I don't
Crazy.
know what you're talking about.
We'll leave it. Episode 25.
Today we are reflecting on forgiveness.
We are indeed. A very, very good episode ahead.
I'm looking forward to this one. There's a lot of things I'm still working to forgive you on, so...
Likewise.
Yeah.
It definitely is a continuation from our conversation last week.
100%.
100. Let's keep it 100.
Let's keep it 100. We were speaking about resentment, and so we were wanting to, as a follow-up part, speak about forgiveness, about how we can, for ourselves, move on. What that looks like. Is it all down to us, or is it down to other people as well?
Yeah. We were speaking before this episode, and we were reflecting, obviously, and in planning this, and there's some lovely things that we want to talk about today in terms of
100%.
what forgiveness does for us, or how it can help us, and how we might reach a place of forgiveness, not only for other people, but for ourselves as well. So
Yeah. Also, I mean, as you just said there, what forgiveness does to us, how it feels, what it's like to forgive, and what benefits it has. Because a lot of the times it benefits us a lot more than the other person as well.
100%.
That's the reason we do it.
100.
Yes, completely.
But firstly, talk to me.
Yes.
How was your week?
Oh, my week. Wow. Well, I've actually been gone for a little bit of time, haven't I?
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not like you.
No, I've actually been away.
What a joker.
I've been away for a little bit of time. I was actually in Florida, in the big Orlando, with my work for a little bit of time.
The big smoke, isn't it?
In the Big Apple, in the Big Smoke. That's exactly it. Is that funny?
I make myself laugh, so...
No, I don't know how you do that.
No, I don't know either.
I was in Orlando with work. For those who don't know, my full-time job, I'm in sales. And part of that is I sell laundry software. Really exciting stuff.
Persil, Tide Pod.
Nothing like that. Nope.
Ariel, all of the above.
Nothing like that at all.
None of them sponsor us,
No.
but they might do.
Soon come. Pardon me. And so part of it was there was this massive convention over in Orlando, and the entire company flew over to spend a week there and network, basically.
Wow.
So yeah, I was in Orlando for a week, which was actually really, really fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, really humid, really hot in Orlando.
I do hear Florida is a humid place.
Unbelievable. Yeah, unbelievable, Jeff. There were loads of storms there. We actually... When we were flying over there, we couldn't land in Orlando.
Oh, really?
We had to go up to Jacksonville, and we were delayed by like 3 hours because of the storms over Florida. Massive hurricanes and stuff.
Well, at least you were in business.
Yes, we got upgraded to premium.
Someone's still waking up.
Yeah. I was wondering what you were going to that. Yes, luckily, a massive mood boost, actually. We were walking onto the plane. The lady just says, yeah, we're actually upgraded all of you to premium, which was never happened to me before, which was insane.
Cool. Yeah.
So very nice, man. I had leg space. I could kick back.
You and your long legs.
Me and my long legs, all 5'10" of me. I could just kick back and relax and rest. So
5'9", who are we kidding?
5'9" and 3/4 is fine. That was
peak and pit of the trip.
Oof. So the peak was on the Saturday night when we were there. We had like a drinks reception for all of our guests, all of our customers and stuff. And one of the things that we did was we went out to a bar, and at the bar was a mechanical bull.
Nice.
Yes, lots of fun. So we had a couple of drinks. We
Very
were
good.
Huh?
Very good.
Very good. We were having a couple of drinks, getting a bit loose with it, and I of course say to the group, "Let's go over to the mechanical bull. Let's have a bit of a ride."
Naturally.
So we go over. We get into the line. The guy behind me's got a cowboy hat on.
Nice.
So I ask, I'm like, "Hello, sir. Do you mind if I use your cowboy hat quickly so I can, when I'm getting filmed, I look proper. You know, I look like a proper cowboy."
Right. Okay.
So get on the mechanical
linen
bull
shirt.
in a linen shirt.
Good old cowboys in their linen
In
shirts.
linen shirts. I want to be organic, to be fair. In my white jeans and my linen shirt. My socks. So I get on the mechanical bull, linen shirt, cowboy hat on, and the music starts. I'll try and post a video in the carousel, which we post. That should be out on Instagram. Go and check it out.
Go check it out.
And so I'm grabbing this bull, hand on the little strap there, and it just starts bucking so quickly forward. I'm almost thrown off instantly. It's so difficult. And the part is you have to get the hand which isn't gripping the handle far back like that. And you have to really like lean your entire torso backwards when it bucks forward. So you basically counteract the thing.
What do you have to do?
Really, I just said you put the hand on the handle.
And then what do you do?
You basically lean back like that.
Throw it back.
You basically throw it back.
Yeah.
You throw it back on the bull.
Yeah.
The craziest part was, oh my God. The craziest part was the ladies working at the bar, they'd stand on the mechanical bull. And they would stand on it, and they'd just, because they worked there, they knew it so well. Yeah. They'd know the patterns. They'd just be standing there, you know, counteracting the mechanical bull's forward motion. Insane.
Interesting.
People would be flung off it and they were standing on it. It was insane.
That is that's very impressive.
So that night was definitely one of the peaks. It was
Nice.
a lot of fun. A lot of good memories and laughs as well. It was also just lovely spending more time with the work colleagues and just make it, and like people who don't sort of spend time with in that way as well, which was lovely.
Yeah.
My pit, I don't know a pit, you know. Probably just being tired and being hungry at one point, I think. I was eating lunch like 4 or 5 p.m. There weren't really any massive pits that I can really think of. There were obviously slow moments, but like a lot of work, and we'd be busy, so we'd eat lunch like 4 or 5 p.m.
Yeah.
But overall, a lovely trip.
Great.
Went to Epic Universe as well.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like the Universal Studios, but the newer one. Actually, that was my pit. The Donkey Kong ride. It was ass.
Ironically.
Yeah.
Donkey.
Nope.
Oh,
Donkey Kong's a gorilla.
I know, but the name Donkey.
Yeah, so that ride. People were waiting 2.5 hours to get in that queue.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had the fast pass. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thanks. Yep.
Thanks, John. But yeah, that was probably the ride I just got on. It was just so bad.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. So that was my week.
Very
Florida
good.
and all of that. How was your week?
My week was also lovely. Not as full on. What have I done since I last spoke to you all? I had a family day. I know I don't see my family too often, but we've had 2 sort of family days in quick succession. So
Yes.
I had another family day. This was planned in advance. It was called Festival because my last name is Bull and we're all a Bulls. So Festivals. It was so cute. My mum got a festival banner from Amazon and it said Festival 2020. Actually, no, it doesn't. Anyway, we all came together at my brother's house and the kids were there, the grandkids, all lovely food, my brothers, wives, all those sorts of things. And yeah, had a lovely time. My niece, who is turning 3 this month, has come up for shell a little bit with us. She's always she's very got a huge character at home when we're not around. But I think it's taken a little bit of time to warm up to us. And yeah, she was having the best time. She was going around one by one, painting all of her uncle's nails and just doing all the things. So that was really nice. I had a lovely time. Other than that, the main week was just work, quite chill. Got back into intervals, so was at the track a couple of times, which was fun.
Lovely stuff.
I do love, for the runners that are listening, a track session, you can't quite beat it. It's just the adrenaline of going absolute full send, but it's in such short breaks, such short, windows. And then the kilometers just fly by because anyway, it's just, I love something about a track I just love doing. So that was really fun. And then, we had the triathlon this weekend.
We did indeed.
That
The
was
Thorpe
cool.
Sprint Triathlon.
So thank you to Run Through who invited us.
That was
And
great fun.
yeah, so the Thorpe Sprint Triathlon, Run Through had us and invited us, and we went and just had the best morning. It was really fun. The swim was, my best swim yet at a triathlon. Didn't stop for a breaststroke break. I was front crawling the whole way, so that was great. And then the bike and the run were also super fun, and you were in a good mood for the run mostly, which is
Yeah, it was.
your development. I was good on the swim, and you were good on the run. So
We are both growing.
we're both
We
growing.
are both growing.
And then, because we did the triathlon, again, thanks Run Through, we had free tickets to Thorpe Park because it was in Thorpe Park, and
Elite.
had a great time.
That was an insane day.
Not been on a ride like Thorpe Park or anything since, I don't know, like for, I think around not quite 8 years, maybe like 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
Just super fun.
I've not been to Thorpe Park in years.
That new ride, what's it called?
Hyperia.
Sublime.
Fastest and tallest ride in the UK.
Epic.
I was reading the Google listing reviews for it before we went on, and people were saying that they're flying over from all these countries just to try it.
Yeah. There was a
It's
kid.
insane.
There was a kid in the queue who you
Behind
became
us.
friends with, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I was here yesterday, and I'm here all the time, and
I
it's
literally
so
live
good."
nearby and I'm here all the time. The guy was absolutely obsessed with this ride.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is valid. It is insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I'd say I'm fairly good at those sorts of things. Terrifying. Genuinely. You get on that ride and the first thing is you're just crawling up this massive incline and then you just get to the top, which is insanely high. Highest ride as well in the whole of the UK. And you get over and then it comes in on itself and then corkscrews down.
Oh yeah.
And the speed at which you reach, I think it's 81 miles an hour.
Just throws you around so much.
Jesus.
But the view at the top, I'm not great with heights, but the view at the top is absolutely beautiful.
God, you could see the car park and everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, the car park looked great. Yeah.
You could see the river and the car park. It was amazing.
Sublime. Stealth, less enjoyable for me. It's just,
I love that one.
Too much.
It's
I mean,
good.
it's fine, I'll do it, but it's just, anyway.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that was good. And then only other update is that we had a big business day, didn't we?
We did on Saturday.
So much we're going to be those classic people that are like, oh, I can't tell you, but just a whole, like, what was it, like, basically 10 hours.
10 hours, yeah.
Whiteboard, full, just absolute mind mapping, doing
It's
all
good.
the things.
Yeah.
Loads of plans in place, loads of targets, strategies, just lots of different things that
Completely.
really good to consolidate after sort of a good few months and a month or so of sort of being away and then
More an
coming back and
autopilot,
being away.
That's great.
We had been an autopilot and now we've sort of just had that refresh. So yeah, if you are a listener and have been listening,
You're very lucky.
stay excited.
You
because,
are very lucky.
yeah, we're super excited and there's just loads of great stuff to come. So
Congratulations for being part of this.
yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
We only hope to do even more. And there's
If you're not here, we forgive you.
yeah, we forgive you.
Hey.
Oh, great! I forgive them. Do you forgive them?
I forgive them because that helps me
Oh,
and that serves me best.
I'm glad you raised that actually,
Why?
because I want to ask
Yes.
forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
What does forgiveness mean to you, Charlie?
What does forgiveness mean to me? Forgiveness to me means finding peace with whatever it is you're trying to forgive, whether it's within yourself or someone else. It's finding peace and being able to move forward with whatever that thing is within yourself. It feels to me, forgiveness, like a sort of weight is lifted off your shoulders, like you're walking through this, like you've been in this cloud, this heavy cloud, and you walk through it and it feels brighter, like just sort of moving forward with more strength and confidence in whatever you're doing because you've chosen to accept it, you've forgiven it, and you can move forward with it in your stride. I don't know if that's to me how forgiveness actually feels.
Okay.
There are a lot of ways that, forgiveness can manifest itself, and that's very contextual, depending on what you're looking to forgive, whether it's within yourself or for someone else as well. But forgiveness to me is genuinely being at peace with whatever it is you've chosen to forgive and saying, whatever happened, maybe it wasn't okay, but for my own peace and sanctity, I'm gonna go forward with this. I'm gonna accept it. I've forgiven it. I don't hold anger or bitterness towards it, and moving forward with it.
Yeah.
I think It's weird because it sort of follows resentment, as what we were saying in the previous episode. Resenting something is replaying it in your own mind. It's going over. It's not reminiscing, but it's
To you, that's what it feels like.
resentment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's repeating something in your mind, playing it over. Forgiveness is the conscious choice and the effort to move forward, genuinely move forward, not just say it, but actually be moving forward with it in and accepting it. That's to me what forgiveness is.
The active, continued process.
It is. It's not a one-stop shop, but when you reach that point of I've forgiven them, it's easier to understand why someone did that, and then it means you can move forward mainly for yourself as well. What about you?
I know you touched on that. Just sticking with that. I know you touched on that in your explanation, but like, I guess for you, if there were a top emotion or a top set of emotions that you associate for you with when you felt forgiveness or you've been in that process, what does it kind of feel like?
So I mentioned, yeah, like I know I sort of tried to paint a picture as you walking through a cloud and you feel this like calm and this peace.
Peace.
For me, it's just calm, and it's the sort of, there's not that anger. There's like there's almost a kindness that you want to embrace that person who you've forgiven. You don't necessarily have to, depending, again, it's very contextual, but forgiveness in itself, I'd say, feels like
Even compassion?
yeah, it's a compassion and a kindness mainly towards the event itself. You can understand it, or I can sort of look at it and say, okay, it wasn't good, but I can understand why it happened and I can move forward with it. I feel kinder and more compassionate and more empathetic towards the situation as a whole
Yeah.
because I've unpacked it and I've worked through it as well. And that's a really nice feeling because there's not that sort of, real bitterness there, which is often what I feel like is with resentment.
Yeah. I think from the top of this, before we continue, I think for the listener, it's important to say we often speak quite openly and candidly about our experiences and our own reflections on things and our own lived experiences. I think we've both made a bit of a conscious decision in this episode, not to sort of move away from that too much, but just forgiveness, as with resentment, involves other people who aren't, it's not just about us, and it requires speaking about or opening up about other people who might not necessarily want that to be unpacked.
Yeah.
We want to respect other people's sort of privacy in their lives, so we both have examples of forgiveness that we feel, but just moving forward, we might be speaking a little bit more generically or
vaguely, not
vaguely
as examples.
Not because we truly, as you know, value opening up and being honest about our feelings, but just when it involves other people and other people's privacy, or for example, the privacy of our families, just as one example, it's something that we just want to be careful with. So yeah, I think today, just from the top, it's important to mention that
completely.
But in general, are you someone who feels like you're good at, like, do you have experience with that?
100%. Yeah. It's there have been points in my life when I was younger as well where my mum's been fantastic in raising me in a way where I've learned how to forgive because of certain things that happened to me when I was younger. She was massive on making sure that I learnt what forgiveness felt like, what it was to forgive, and what that did to me as well. Something I massively appreciate and has been a genuine pillar in my upbringing, me becoming who I am, is genuinely learning the action of forgiveness. It's a conscious choice that you have to work on as well. And I'd say because of just what happened when I was younger, during my childhood, something that I had to learn from my mum, how to forgive. It meant that as I've gotten older, it's allowed me to approach a lot of situations that if I typically see other people, they are resentful, they reminisce, or not reminisce because that's probably the wrong word, but play over and over. Ruminate, thank you. It's something that I've actually found to be fairly okay with me, sort of saying that doesn't matter, that doesn't serve me best. And then choosing to forgive. How I go about forgiving that is completely different, whether I want to communicate that with that person or whether that won't serve me because maybe I don't have that person in my life anymore. It completely depends. But I'd like to think that I'm fairly good at forgiving, I'd say. Because again, what I was saying before, the main thing for me, forgiveness is serving you. Forgiveness is actually probably quite a selfish thing, but it's to better you, it's to serve your inner child, it's to serve your inner, holding on to resentment does not serve you at all.
No.
It doesn't. We often have this, or what I've witnessed and maybe observed is that we have this sort of idea of justice that we try and get from not forgiving,
Yeah.
but from switching that more to peace, which serves us best. And from what I know has served me best, that's what I've grown up with.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned to forgive as well.
Mm.
Does that answer your
For
question?
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
What about you? Have you?
And I can see that in you as well. Like
Fair.
something that you definitely personify as, or if that's the right word, is that sort of level-headedness and that ability to sort of let things go in all ways, but then that attributes itself to forgiveness as well, not holding on to things and being able to have that sort of objective, sort of compassionate mindset of,
Completely.
yeah, just really focusing on yourself and what's needed for yourself.
Yeah.
For me, yeah, I also have, as everyone does, lived experience with forgiveness. I think there are times where trying to reflect on examples, I have successfully forgiven, and that's why it's hard to think about because
Of
it's sort of
course.
a process that's, I've moved past. I think there are times when, like you say, forgiveness has been a lot more sort of integral or a continued process throughout my life
Yep.
from specific things, like no parent's perfect. So in saying that, there's forgiveness that I have tried to give, or I don't know if give's the right verb, but that I've tried to have for practice
Yeah.
for my dad, for example, and for whatever reason, which again, like we've mentioned, I'm not necessarily going to go into, but in my parents' divorce and all of those sorts of things. Yeah, my mum wasn't perfect either, but just in this example, I'm just thinking of my dad, and he's no longer here. There's forgiveness that I want to practice towards him, and to find peace in that. So I definitely live in a way where I'm practicing forgiveness and continually do that. And being like leading on from last week and sort of me mentioning about sort of how I am sort of emotionally receptive. I'm someone that feels things hard.
Yeah.
um, I yeah, I am currently, based on the resentment talk we were having last week, because they go hand in hand. I am currently working on forgiveness of, a friend in my life, for example, who I'm sort of letting go of, but in terms of, while letting go, also trying to just find forgiveness, as you say, for my own peace. Not because I necessarily, in this situation, want to restore or have that back or
Go
whatever.
backwards. No.
No, it's forgiveness for my own peace and my own well-being, because
Yeah.
I think something that's important to touch on today, as we know and see, forgiveness. Well, we don't necessarily all know, but forgiveness is something that helps us move away from a state of sort of stress.
I was about to ask, to you, forgiveness, how does it feel?
Yeah. Yeah. So forgiveness, I echo a lot of what you say. Forgiveness feels sort of, in a weird way, it kind of, when forgiveness is truly sort of embodied and, let's say, checked off, even though I don't know if it's ever like one and done,
Yeah.
um, I kind of feel like it's really underwhelming in a way of like, okay, if you've truly reached a place of forgiveness,
It's subtle.
you really don't, you are fully at peace, so that's not on your mind, and therefore, you're so focused on yourself and your future prosperity and how you're doing and your success at work or your success in your relationships or whatever else.
Yeah.
When you feel, it's like everything else, I think it goes hand in hand. When you're someone who is confident and has, the positive self-schemas and the self-esteem, and you're so focused on your own success and your own well-being, it's like you don't judge other people, you don't look down on other people, you don't worry about what other people are doing. Likewise, I think you might find it easier to forgive people, and therefore you're so kind of distracted by the positives in your life and what's going well,
Yeah.
that forgiveness is kind of like it's a neutrality in a way of like, I'm just so neutral to it that I'm not even really thinking about whatever's been gone wrong.
It's interesting. You use the word there, distracted, but we could actually look. It's interesting. We could almost say that the resentment we hold is the distraction from our own journeys, which is actually the
Yeah.
important thing. So you're focusing on the right things instead. But as you said, from everything, it lowers stress. You feel better, but it's a slow thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you definitely feel better because, like, linking to last week, we know that when you're not forgiving and you're in this state of holding on to whatever it is, and even research shows, that we hold on to those adverse feelings, anger, which then are, as we saw in the research last week, but also again this week, it gives you but you're kind of in a state of fight or flight. You have the stress response, adrenaline, the anger, like I say,
That's what resentment feels like.
like reduced sleep, all of those stress response physiological components that are involved is what is associated, and research has shown to be associated with holding on to those things. When we can find forgiveness and move towards forgiveness, again, research shows, which some I have here, Worthington and Skircher in 2004, found that forgiveness reduces stress, reduces anger, reduces depression, and is linked to even better cardiovascular health. So
There you go.
when we were
Wow.
talking about last week how that holding on and ruminating is associated with all of those adverse health outcomes and reduced mental health and well-being, we can see when you can move past that rumination and get to forgiveness, as the research shows, you then have it's associated with all of these positive outcomes and reduction in those things.
Wow. So even if it's not doing it for your own peace, you can say, I'm doing it for my own health. There's literal health evidence to show that.
Yeah, and it's a form of emotional regulation ultimately.
It feels like it, but as I love the point you raise, it's a subtle change. It's not like a big hill that you reach the final point. You're like, I've now forgiven them. It's you realize it through not realizing it,
Yes.
which is odd.
Now, I think there are levels to that, and there are certain times when this is more about other people and less about self-forgiveness. But if we're from me coming from a forensic psychology background, there are times working in, I've worked in high secure hospitals where, we're talking about people whose index offences are, murder, for example, or homicide. We look at, so that's restorative justice, and we work on restorative justice between that person and whether it's, well, not the victim, but the victim's family or whatever it is. That is less of a, oh, I can just subtly forgive that person and not really think about it, because it has such a huge impact on their lives. Sometimes forgiveness is that subtle, oh, I've not even realized I've forgiven them, but then there's a whole scale of forgiveness. And I think when we talk about those much more sort of devastating or impactful forms of wrongdoing that have happened to us, even your parent that's done you wrong as a child, those are hugely formative things that stay with you forever. I think we need to maybe think about forgiveness as a way of really focusing on ourselves and not necessarily looking for justice, but finding peace internally, right?
Completely. No, yeah. I mean, literally, as we said, resentment often it can be linked to revenge, or you're wanting to make sure that person finds karma or whatever it is, and
Reparation
or
or whatever.
all these things which often lead us down a dark path because it's not actually what we're wanting. It's if you put the peace, which is looking inwards instead of outwards, that's where you find that peace. You look inwards and you say, this is what's going to serve me best. Would, having revenge, would bringing someone to justice bring you peace? Maybe in certain situations it would, for some really devastating things to happen. I know that's often the case. Well, not often, but sometimes the case. But in most forms of forgiveness, that sort of justice doesn't actually serve us best. It's looking inwards and saying, how do I serve something? It's by distancing and healing inside.
Yeah. Something I teach my students at university is one of the foundational things of forensic psychology is crime and punishment and justice in the first place. Why do we have the justice system that we have?
Yeah.
And one of the huge sort of theoretical arguments is, in society as human beings, if something is, if there's a wrongdoing, there must be equal weighting in terms of punishment for that reparation and for that justice to be served. So there must always be an equilibrium of balance in terms of a moral reasoning and from a moral standpoint. Okay, you've done this thing wrong, therefore your punishment must equate to that. So for justice and for the moral equilibrium to be restored. That then leads to, you can imagine, someone's lost a family member to homicide, or someone is a victim of any form of crime. Whatever it is, there's lots of muggings going on in London at the moment, all of those sorts of things. We feel morally, and this isn't a bad way to feel because it's a human drive to feel like this, but we feel morally justice should be served. That person needs to have punishment or wrongdoing to them to an equal level if they've imposed on someone else. Sometimes that's not available, and it's on us to know whether holding on to that need for that reparation is doing like you say, sort of harming us more than it's helping us. We've got to ask ourselves, okay, in holding on to that and not being able to let go and needing to see that person suffer and punish, we live in a society, I appreciate. I'm someone who's a forensic psychologist. A lot of people have come up to me, being like, "Oh, that's ridiculous! What you do? You should just lock them all up. You need harsher punishments. All of these people are disgusting."
What does that serve anyone?
Yeah. What does that feeling of moral superiority and all of those things serve? I completely get. When you're the victim yourself,
Of course,
completely different story.
Yeah.
That's where we must find the peace, and we must move away from that need for the justice, as you say, because maybe that justice is never going to be served. Someone's life has been taken, for example, in an extreme example. Can you ever truly, no matter
Fill
what,
that void by taking someone else's life?
Yeah. And if it were taken, I'm sure, I can't say from personal lived experience, but having worked in restorative justice and with victims' families and things, that seeing that other person suffer, there's always still something else that needs to be healed within you. Of course. And this is where we come to,
of course,
in terms of the forgiveness.
Yeah. It's really interesting, yeah. But as the victim, you're seeing that to a completely different level, isn't it?
Yeah. Interestingly, there is the REACH model, which leans into all of this, and it is based in forensic psychology.
Yep.
But for forgiveness, the REACH model is actually applicable to anyone's lives and any form of wrongdoing and any sort of you could be in a relationship and your partner could have done something bad to you, or a friendship or whatever. The REACH model and its components are very universal, and I think really helpful for us in our discussions, but also our listeners as well. The REACH model, it's all about sort of, again, finding peace over and looking towards peace as opposed to trying to find justice.
Yeah.
Letting justice do its own thing and knowing that'll
be served
if it's served in its own way. All you can do is look inwardly and find peace for yourself. And that's all you have control over. And that's what the REACH model was looking for. Of course, in psychology, we love an acronym in most fields, to be fair. It stands for, and we'll go through these, but recall the hurt, empathise with the offender or the wrongdoer, altruistic gift of forgiveness.
REA.
Yes. C, commit to forgive, and H, hold on to forgiveness.
Reach, would you look at that?
So we're reaching for the stars, S Club 7. You probably don't remember S Club 7, do you?
I do. Don't try and paint that
such
picture.
a young
I do.
whippersnapper.
Oh, I do.
So there were a band in the 90s/noughties.
What a tangent. What a tangent.
Just bringing some humour in.
Yeah, it does need some. It's getting a bit heavy. Get a load of stuff.
So, okay, we start with the R, the recall, and how we can maybe work on the forgiveness for... Let's maybe as a listener hold on to, and while we're thinking about reach, think about an example in our own lives where someone has done something bad to us.
You recall the hurt.
Yeah, we've been a victim in a situation. And when we're going through these, maybe hold on to that anchor so it can help us sort of imagine all of these scenarios and help us work through this. I've got someone in my mind. I don't know if you do in yours.
I do, yep.
So recall the hurt. R, acknowledge the pain openly instead of suppressing it. It's being specific about what happened and firstly just opening up and knowing that is okay, that it's going to be painful.
Yeah.
And actually just in first, as with all of these things that we speak about, just importantly acknowledging it.
I think it's actually such a massive step, which not a lot of... I know I've not done this before, is you begin to feel resentful. You don't quite know why. You start bringing up arguments, whether it's with a partner, a parent, whatever it might be. You just start feeling these things. You don't quite know why. Recalling why you're hurt and just verbalizing it itself is such a huge part, which can bring us so far along this journey. So, recall it. Why?
And in not minimizing it, it gives... that's what you need to do. You need to acknowledge and give credence to what this issue is. I'm hurt and that's okay. And in practices of restorative justice, I keep saying that word. Restorative justice is where a perpetrator in a forensic psychology setting, a perpetrator and then the victim or the victim's family sort of through mediation come together and work together to find justice between them and speak about the impact of what's happened and find sort of peace amongst them. There's loads of different ways of reaching that through different forms of mediation. But in a restorative justice practice, that recalling of the hurt could be, the family writing a letter saying this is how this has impacted me to that perpetrator. That in practice for us as listeners, that could be you writing down and journaling how you're hurt, why you're hurt.
What it feels like.
What it actually really feels like, and not trying to minimize that and be like, oh yeah, it hurts, I know that. Really unpacking that and understanding. Because that then...
How does it make you feel?
Yeah.
It brings it to the surface.
That then allows you to really process that, which we need to do to reach forgiveness. according to this model, which I agree with.
I agree as well.
E is empathise with the offender.
Yeah.
This is something that we struggle to do as human beings, but something that to reach forgiveness, this model, and again, I agree with, is we need to understand why they've done what they've done.
Yeah.
Like I say most weeks, unless you're a psychopath, you're someone who's trying to act in the best way you know how in that given circumstance. Now, we don't always, especially when there's heinous things that have happened, we can't always see that and understand that.
Yeah.
But there's always context to someone's actions. There's always reasoning, and we might never know that person might not be in our lives anymore, whatever. But if we can try to do a little bit of mentalizing and just trying to empathize and understand what has happened, it doesn't mean I'm going to be there like forgiving, like fully, like just absolutely not forgiving them, but like absolutely like
You can take it in
minimizing.
instead, yeah.
But it's allowing yourself to just give a baseline understanding.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to agree with it.
Yeah.
Or like I say, pardon it or excuse it, but it's giving you that baseline understanding, right?
When you asked me in the beginning whether I was fairly good or whether I thought I was good at forgiving, I mentioned that my mum has been a huge part in my upbringing and teaching me how to forgive. One of the main pillars that I've found in my own sort of forgiveness journey with people who have done wrong to me in the past is truly understanding or trying to understand why they did that. Now, you can't sometimes go down a certain you can't go down so far a path because some things you don't understand and you can't level with because you're not the same as that person. But just understanding why or their reasons for doing it or why that happened or why they might have done it can bring so much peace. If you just say, oh, they did this not because they wanted to, but because this is who they are and this is their experiences. This was their childhood and this is why they did this. It wasn't personal. They didn't do it to hurt me. They did it because this is who they are. And I don't take that personally because I know they have their own shortcomings as well.
Yeah.
Just that level of empathizing and understanding of their own actions, just it relinquishes so much. Taking it personally, it just relinquishes that because a lot of the times we as humans take a lot of things personally, especially when there's wrongdoing done to us. But often, if we peel it back through understanding it, it never had anything to do with us. We were just the recipient of it.
Yeah.
So understanding the actions is a massive thing. Yeah.
I think it also moves us away from victim versus villain.
Yep.
And there's so much I would love to go into even deeper on this, but if we internalize things versus externalize things, or I'm really resisting the urge to go to different psychological theories, but the internal locus of control or your locus of control is whether you're someone that believes that things happen to you and you're the victim of your surroundings, or whether you're someone who makes your life happen and you're the actor in your life.
Yep.
If we can move away from that sort of I'm a victim of all of my surroundings, we can, like you very brilliantly said, I'm also a flawed person. If I can understand that I'm a flawed person and I'm not perfect, it allows me to see other people in the same way.
Yep.
And I'm not here as a victim who's just, a victim of my surroundings and other people. I'm a flawed person who's acting in my life, interacting with other flawed people. So they're not a villain who've just victimized me. Yes, speaking from definitions, you are a victim, potentially, in a crime. But other than that, I'm a flawed person dealing with a flawed person. And if I can see that and mentalize like that, it allows me to fully just unpack and really, again, not pardon or excuse, but just understand.
And empathize with the offender.
And empathize.
Completely.
Again, leads us to A, so altruistic gift of forgiveness. Again, as punitive human beings, is going to be a struggle. So as a listener, it requires a lot of that self-awareness and open-mindedness to be able to do this. But seeing that basically you have been forgiven in the past. Yep. None of us are perfect human beings.
We all have.
Yes, you might not have done something so severe that's happened to you, that someone else has done to you. But in life, we have all done things wrong. Based on the previous E, we're all people who are flawed human beings.
Completely.
By remembering that there's a time that we need forgiveness, we recognize that forgiveness is something that you give, and you're doing that as yourself. You're being altruistic and you're giving that, not because the other person deserves it, but also because it frees you. So you are being altruistic in this forgiveness. I don't think the most fully, because it is self-serving as well to forgive, but I think there is that altruism there of I am not a perfect person.
Yeah.
I'm not here on a moral high ground. We're all human beings who are doing our best. Yes, I don't necessarily want to forgive you, and I don't want to see you to be a good person or whatever. But I can have some sort of altruism here and get in allowing myself to give you this forgiveness, because ultimately it helps me as well.
That's it. Is it's. I mean, I know this whole model's sort of shifting the view from justice to peace, but from choosing to give the person forgiveness can be really hard if you're so
100%.
focused on justice. It's a lot easier if you're focused on yourself and peace as well. So just
Mm.
knowing that the peace actually is better for you, it's far better. You'll feel better as well.
Mm.
Will hopefully allow one to make that conscious choice. Be like, they might not deserve it, but I'm going to give them forgiveness because it serves me best.
Yeah.
Give give them that because you've been given it as
This,
well.
yeah, this
Yeah.
A reminds me of I had a teacher when I was younger who, unfortunately, I can't remember the specific members, but I know at least one of his parents and siblings, they passed away from a drink driver accident, and the drink driver uh, hit them, whatever, and they didn't survive. He worked a lot on forgiveness, and eventually he made a proactive decision from the onset to, I'm not going to hold on to this and to blame this person,
Yeah.
and
You can't.
I'm going to give them that forgiveness. And he ended up, on some level, I don't think really close, but becoming like friends or acquaintances with this person who ultimately took the life
Wow.
of his family members, because for him, he's a much more at peace person, and it allows him to do that. And he saw that this
Serves him
person
best.
was a flawed person, and unfortunately their fundamental flaws took a huge unimaginable impact on his life. But if he really stripped that back and allowed it to see that this is a flawed person, and unfortunately wrong place, wrong time, this was devastating on my life. But they didn't necessarily, on some level they did choose to do that, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Not
they didn't
it
leave that
wasn't
house that
done
day thinking,
to
let me,
let me go and kill these people.
yeah.
God, that's hard.
Imagine this is what we're talking about, the strength and power in literally the lives have been taken of your family members, and being able to sort of,
Yeah.
we're not perfect. No one's perfect, and not everyone can reach that place. But it's sort of working for your own benefit to find that peace in yourself.
That's incredible.
C is the committing to forgive. So making, and this is where we always speak about intentionality, like making a conscious, intentional decision to forgive. I choose to forgive, and when you're intentional with something, it just allows you to act and move in a
In
way
accordance with what you want to do.
with purpose.
Oh, completely.
Um,
It's sort of it's nice because this model follows a bit of a like a linear, step by step on how to do it. It's almost like advice. It's great. You begin to empathize with the person. You realize what it makes you feel. You begin to choose it, and then through here being a conscious choice, that's the next step. Is I'm going to choose this. I'm going to be intentional with this. You might not want to, but through going through the previous steps and saying now I'm going to choose to forgive. It's a conscious choice. You become intentional.
Yeah.
You bring it to the surface, and you'll say, "This is what I want to be going forward and doing."
yeah,
And knowing because it serves you so much better, because you consciously choose it.
yeah.
That's the right thing to do.
And likewise, when you consciously do something or intentional with something, it then adds that cognitive layer. So when your innate or your those real sort of guttural feelings of anger or whatever come out,
Yeah.
you have that cognitive layer. Your prefrontal cortex is working to challenge those innate feelings of anger or whatever, because you've committed to and made a conscious choice to forgive. So you start to feel those feelings rise in you. You can then work on that and be like, no, I've made a commitment here to forgive. I'm going to work through that. Whether that's an actual, you literally say those words, or whether it's a lot more sort of nuanced than that, either way, you've made that conscious decision, which then gives you resolve when your sort of innate feelings start to resurface.
Completely. And because it's a conscious choice, it might come and go, but you still are consciously choosing it going forward as well.
Yeah. H, finally, hold on to forgiveness. And this is all about, it's not a one and done. I'm someone who mentioned specifically, my example, probably both my parents, but in this, my dad.
Yeah.
I think it's for me an active thing that I choose to do my whole life, probably. And I always often say, and you'd agree, it's not a one and done. We're complete.
It's a journey.
You work on your whole life these things. There are forms of forgiveness where I feel like I've completely forgotten about it, but it's remembering and not judging yourself when those feelings resurface or you're feeling angry towards that person, knowing that forgiveness requires conscious work and continued work. So it's yes, I've forgotten this before, but if it comes up again, I can let it go again as well.
Exactly.
And I don't need to catastrophize that or feel like, oh, I've just remembered this, therefore I've not forgiven them. It requires consistent work.
Yeah.
And yeah, you in reminding yourself of that and holding on to that, you can allow yourself to find that peace again
Yeah.
and not sort of catastrophize and think, oh, I've not reached this forgiveness yet. They're still bugging me 10 years later.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's whatever that causing factor is, that thing that you're trying to forgive is a huge life-changing thing potentially, if we're talking about, things like in forensic psychology.
Yeah.
It's not something that you will just forget.
Nothing's a constant in this, self-improvement in itself is not a constant, but it's by using these tools, knowing that it's not personal, empathizing with the offender, all these tools that we can have in our arsenal, it lends us to go on this journey stronger, and it lends us to be able to be more resilient to when we are offended against, and we can just reach it better as well.
Yeah.
Pardon pun. That was fully unintentional. We can reach forgiveness. The reach model.
Reach it.
Whoa, reach for the stars.
You are good, aren't you?
God, that was actually unintentional.
Yeah. You should join a band called S Club 7.
Who?
I will get into it another time. But it's reminding yourself that, like anything, it's a process. You're not trying to reach a final place of perfection. I'm continually working on this.
Yeah.
So through all of those things, we're working on that together.
Yeah.
I think that model is brilliant.
For me, it's great.
And encapsulates so much that we can go over.
Yeah.
I do want to touch upon self-forgiveness as well.
Self-forgiveness, yes. Yeah, this is huge.
We speak about this a lot, self-compassion, all of those things. I think we are human beings, as we've gone over in the positive self-talk episode, or maybe dealing with criticism.
Probably both.
From our amygdalas, our real core parts of our brain, our fight or flight, our survival parts of our brain that are there to help us survive back in the day in the environment of evolutionary adaptation, we have a negative attribution bias. We are hardwired to see ourselves and to see only threats externally, but also things that we do wrong, and focus on those more so because we need to focus on bad things to be able to mitigate them, to be able to survive. Therefore, we're human beings who see ourselves inherently negatively. There are lots of things that we have done wrong, whether that's to someone else or that we've just not liked the way we've acted, that we can hold on to. And this then leads also to the regret episode.
Yeah, self.
All of these are intertwined. Forgiveness is not only about other people, but it's finding peace and self-actualization, right? It's finding peace with yourself and your previous actions. Sorry, carry on.
No, it's fine. I wasn't speaking, so I can't carry on, but thank you for that.
I thought you were going to say something.
No, I actually was. Yeah, such a big part of self-forgiveness, at least in my own journey as well, is a lot of the steps that we've said, understanding why you did something, having empathy, and then choosing that forgiveness it all applies to the self as well. If you have not acted in accordance with how you felt you were or what you did, just not talking about it or shying away from it or having this sort of lingering shame about it, that doesn't allow you to move forward with your actual best interests or your best self at heart. You need to be able to genuinely understand why you did something, empathize with yourself, and then just move forward with that self-compassion as well. It's not easy. We often do things in life that we don't like or love, or we want to do. Maybe it's involving other people who we hurt, and understanding why we do it in the first place can often really help us, give a lot of compassion to ourselves. But it's that first time is often because we're so distanced from our actual true selves and what we're feeling. Yeah, we often don't act in accordance. It's if we're acting in accordance, or sorry, if we're aware of how we feel, say I feel maybe underappreciated or I feel resentful about something, talking about it, knowing that I feel this in the first place can often save me from doing something which I might regret later on. Yeah, big apostrophe marks there.
Quotation
marks. Sorry, I was getting there. But yeah, self-forgiveness is all about, I think, just being aware of how you're feeling. Yeah, and then
understanding yourself, but also understanding yourself through a lens of compassion. Yeah. Always compassion. We're not just forgiving others. Like I say, we're forgiving ourselves and being kind to ourselves and understanding. Just as when we try to reach for, and empathize with other people and see them to be flawed humans, we're also flawed humans, and that is okay. And we don't have to be punitive to ourselves and live in a state of I'm an idiot, I did this badly, I'm a horrible person.
Yeah.
Our actions don't define us,
Nor
and
do our thoughts or all.
it's
Yeah.
how we respond to those and how we can learn from those
Completely.
that are more important.
Talk to yourself like you do your best friend.
Yeah.
We're often our worst self-critics, as you said. So
Exactly. And we truly, that's a phrase that people don't really fully resonate with. Like, talk to yourself like you would your best friend, but really, truly try to. We've had that activity before. We've sat and actually spoken to each other, looked each other in the eyes and spoke to each other as if we were a mirror.
yeah.
And it's a really uncomfortable thing to do, but it
It
actually was hugely sort of,
Was that not like second or third episode? we
yeah,
did that? Yeah.
yeah, it was
interesting.
imposter syndrome, I think.
I think it was. We'll not actually add that episode.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's
research on self-forgiveness. This was researched by Woodyat and Wenzel in 2013. Woodyat. With offenders, I believe, from memory. But they were looking at superficial self-forgiveness and really internalized self-forgiveness. And they were measuring those by through different measures where they were working with different individuals to actually help them really internalize their self-forgiveness versus just speaking on self-forgiveness that was more superficial. And they found the internalized self-forgiveness was associated with real true emotional healing, again measured in different ways, but emotional healing and being at peace and all of those markers that we're talking about, stress response,
yeah.
improved well-being, etc. And that was found to be a significant relationship with real internalized self-forgiveness amongst offenders. So when someone can really forgive themselves, we see by all of these markers, whether it's a stress response, our heart rate even, our adrenaline levels, we can really find inner peace and healing. So yeah.
Wow. I think it'd be interesting to as like an exercise, write down 5 things that you feel like you've done wrong in your life, just to bring it to the surface and how they made you feel, and then try and understand why you did them in the first place. Just if you could list that would be really useful, I think.
Yeah.
Just bring it all to the surface.
Very cool activity.
That would be good. Bit of homework.
Give it a go.
A bit of homework for you. Resurface all of that you've done wrong, and understand it, and love yourself for it.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself.
Love every part of yourself.
Exactly.
And in doing so, like you say, we can forgive ourselves.
Oy.
I think that leads us on to advice, right?
I think it does. I think we've given some tools and tips throughout, but we sort of want to consolidate, give you guys the tools and tips that you can walk away from this.
Yeah. So
knowing how to forgive.
Advice for forgiving others and also forgiving yourselves.
Exactly. So number 1 is shifting the spotlight back to you. Shifting that perspective onto how you can act now.
Number 2, release the need for justice and move more towards peace.
Number 3 is just allow time for that forgiveness.
Number 4, redefine relationships post-forgiveness.
Number 5, which is huge, is empathize with the offender.
Number 6, forgive yourself too.
Very nice. Yeah.
I think all of these, a lot of these are within the REACH model.
Completely.
Some are beyond that, but I thought it was, important, to just say that we understand that they're within the REACH model. But these are 6 forms of advice that we thought were important, right?
Completely.
To cover. So
yeah, exactly.
Shifting the spotlight back to you is like what we said before. Focusing on what you can control, focusing on yourself. You can only control yourself. You can only control your peace. So why don't we focus on that and allow ourselves to think about maintaining our peace? And in doing so, to be able to do so, it's important for us to just even try to find forgiveness.
Completely.
We can only have ourselves and our lives.
Right? Exactly. That leads us on to point number 2 is release the need for justice. Know that peace serves you better. Really try and seek that instead of seeking revenge or justice, because that only serves you to a certain point and you can get a lot further with finding peace.
Yeah, and the allowing time, which is number 3, is remembering that forgiveness isn't a one and done. It's not something that's a quick fix either. It takes time. And in just acknowledging that it takes time, you allow yourself sort of space to make mistakes and to fall back and to take a step back.
Completely.
These things aren't, it takes time and that is okay. So remember that. So when you fall back, you're not catastrophizing and thinking you're failing.
Exactly. The next one is to redefine your post-forgiveness relationship. So just because you've forgiven someone doesn't mean you have to go back to what it was. I think we often maybe doubt, but I don't want to be friends with them again. You don't have to be friends with them. You don't have to, speak to them more, or you don't have to, bring back up your relationship. Forgiveness doesn't mean that. It means that you go forward. What that relationship looks like, it's completely up to you. It's up to you how you define that, and that's absolutely fine.
I think that's really important to to this point
Yeah.
is, and where, like we've said in all of this, in point number one, this is about you and your peace. It's not about that other person and whether they have you as a friend or not, or they have you in their life or not. Your forgiveness is about you finding that peace, right?
It
So
is, yeah.
you don't necessarily need to give that person everything. You don't need to give them all of those things. As long as you've found the peace, you don't have to have them in your life again.
You don't
And
have,
I think we can get confused with that in a sense of, oh, I don't, it's not gone back to how it was. That means it mustn't be fixed. Like, life evolves and life changes. Things never really stay the same.
Yeah.
It's okay that it hasn't gone back. That what has happened to you, like we said last week, that can be data. That person's done this thing wrong with you. You can move forward and be at peace with it without having to, exactly like you say, restore what was.
yeah.
Those two things can go hand in hand. It doesn't have to be how it was, whilst also allowing for true forgiveness.
Exactly.
Yeah, the empathizing with the offender or the wrongdoer, hugely important and really needed to reach forgiveness. I think to be able to forgive someone, as we've seen in the reach model, but also discussed ourselves, we've got to see them as a flawed human and
Understand them.
not just some villain in our story.
Of course, understand them.
It doesn't mean, like we say and have said numerous times, we're excusing them or thinking that what they've done is okay. That's different, but it's just understanding that they're a flawed human and they weren't necessarily being a psychopath trying to intentionally harm you. There could be 101 different reasons. Fear, they didn't tell you this thing because they don't want to upset you. And ultimately, they didn't tell you and it's made it worse in the long run, but they were so scared. And that doesn't mean it's okay, but that just gives you a bit of insight, right?
Exactly. And the last one is to forgive yourself too. Know that whatever you've done, it's okay. Try and understand what you've done. We were just saying it, but move forward with self-compassion and self-love. Understand why you've done something. Try and get to the bottom of it. Maybe your patterns, your behaviors, what you've learned when you were younger. Understand why you've done it, but still go forward knowing it's okay and become a better person from it.
Bit of a deep one to sort of summarize that on, but maybe something to think about and to go away and maybe give us some comments on this one. I feel like potentially if you're someone who has reached self-forgiveness, you're more able to forgive others.
You are, because you understand what it takes. It's that empathizing.
You're not holding on to self-loathing and all these things. And arguably when someone has all of those feelings of self-loathing or, disdain or whatever it is,
it's easier to project that.
You project that exactly onto, I don't forgive you, you're a horrible person, when actually we're masking and distracting ourselves from what's really important, potentially.
Understanding all these things, it takes accountability for everything. And from that, you can then go forward with true kindness and love and peace.
I love myself. Even though I look like a burnt chicken nugget.
Burnt chicken nugget.
I really enjoyed that.
That was lovely, wasn't it?
I had to refrain myself from going way deeper in places.
Yeah.
But
head over to our Patreon if you want to see some deeper chats.
Oh yes, we now have a Patreon, which is very exciting.
If you want to see some more advice and some more some more explainers from Dr. Marcus over here, head over.
Just absolutely amazing, really exciting stuff.
It is.
I don't know. Well, we definitely find it exciting. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Exactly.
Speaking of, you find it exciting.
Excitement. Was there anything that boosted your mood this week, Marcus?
Yes, there was something that boosted my mood this week. Steve. He ran the Sydney Marathon.
Wow.
Steve is a big member of our Mood Booster community. He's based in London and actually part of the Run Club. He looks after a lot of our runners. He cares for them. He's helps them with their running and all these sorts of things. And it was nice to see him having a moment of win and succeeding.
Well done, Steve.
Ran the Sydney Marathon, which is no mean feat. So huge congratulations to Steve.
Well done, Steve. Congratulations. Fantastic job.
What about you?
My mood booster of the week was Sam, our videographer, friend, photographer. He actually had his second baby recently. He was absolute legend. Congratulations, Sam, and family. It's a massive achievement.
Yeah, very wonderful news. So congratulations.
Amazing news. Healthy baby arrived. Congratulations, Sam.
Yes, Sam, his wife, and now 2 children having a lovely time as a family of 4. So
up in Leeds.
Very happy for you.
Well done, Sam.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Oh,
boosted my mood.
Wholesome as all.
Wholesome.
Anything.
Lovely.
Love that episode.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Thank you for joining.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Of course.
Please, we've given you some homework there as well.
We have indeed. Go away and do it. Let us know how it goes.
And yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about some of those things, especially towards the end about self-forgiveness and whether that allows you to then let go of other things other people
Have you
done to
forgiven yourself for what you did?
Yeah.
We know what you did.
We know what you did last summer.
All right.
Let us know.
Dr. Marcus is going to do some ASMR once I turn off the mics.
Dr. Marcus
Thanks,
here.
guys.
Hi everyone. I'm just going to do some ASMR. I'm going to tap